A new addition to the Sunsphere is now open to the public. We were at the grand opening. A TikTok star has found a new home at Rocky Top, but this one has 4 brand new legs. We introduce you to Baby 7. And we took a look at 5 different fight songs. How will good old Rocky Top hold up? Thanks for joining us for Vol News. I'm Sydney Brackett. We're following some breaking news for you today. A house explosion in West Knox County sent shockwaves through the neighborhood. Thankfully, no one was at the home at the time and no injuries were reported, but reports of the sound came from miles away. Police say this cause is still under investigation, but we'll be keeping you up to date on this story over at our Instagram at Vol News TVC. The morning after the election, many African-American college students across the nation received racist text messages that some call disturbing. Our Grayson Thatcher has been following this story since the beginning. She spoke to experts about how to keep your data safe.
To scare people or to try and shift their beliefs or opinions.
Spam texts. Many receive them about a missing package, to sell your house, voting ads, but after the election, some students got a different type of text.
We're in a tough political climate. It's a tough time in America, period, for any party, for any race. And so to joke about that is just like shocking to me.
Cameron received this text at 3:45 a.m. the morning after the election, telling him he needed to report to the nearest plantation the next day and that he would be picked up by their executive slaves.
It's just sick, honestly.
The FBI is now investigating how those texts got sent out. Cybersecurity expert Corey McReynolds says services like TextNow let people create fake phone numbers to send these messages.
They pay for the service, they schedule when it's supposed to go out, and then it gets blasted out from there.
In a statement, TextNow says it found out the text was sent through its system, now working with its partners and law enforcement to investigate. The good news is McReynolds says there are ways to help prevent messages like this. Watch your digital footprint.
Once information is on social media, there's almost nothing you can do to remove it.
The most effective method of prevention is a use of data removal services, but that doesn't mean you won't ever see them.
Ultimately, that's just a phone number, and it's just one point of contact. So it will block that number, but it's pretty easy to get another one to shoot stuff out from.
Another piece of advice Reynolds had was that you can text any spam number to 7726 and it will actually go to all of the major phone carriers. They will then block that number as spam or phishing. Hurricane Helene hit East Tennessee and North Carolina just over a month ago. Our Ansley Grayson joins us now. Ansley, how's that cleanup going?
Thanks, Sydney. It has been over a month since East Tennessee and the Western Carolinas were devastated from the flash floods brought on by Hurricane Helene. Over 230 people, and still counting, have lost their lives throughout the states affected by Helene, and 26 people are still unaccounted for in North Carolina. But how are the roads and cleanup efforts coming? Officials are saying that I-40 near the Tennessee state line will not open up for a long time. But I-40 east and west in and out of Asheville have reopened, and cleanup efforts in North Carolina are still underway, with many more months of rebuilding to come, people's homes being swept away. Some are sleeping in tents where their homes used to be. But there are rental services that are also helping with the efforts. With the winter months to come, people are still without a real shelter. As the efforts continue, our hearts are heavy, and we encourage everyone to do their part and continue with donating. Stay tuned. Later in the show, we'll take a look at a cold front moving in and what you can expect for your weekend.
Thanks, Ansley. A new welcome center is open in Knoxville, and it's the Sunsphere. The Sunsphere has been going through many changes over the last 10 years. However, most recent include the Sunsphere being painted blue again, and the installation of a welcome center complete with solar power. Many who were part of the project say that they are proud to have worked on it and to have been able to revisit some of the ideas presented in the 1982 World's Fair.
I think it's just so awesome to be here today, and you know, this was a 10-year idea, 2 years to bring it to life, and we're excited to see what visitors think about it.
If you want to visit, take note of the price change. It's now $10 for adults. However, there will be free days for Knoxville residents available at sunspheretickets.com. You know it, you love it as the soundtrack of the Volunteers. Rocky Top has been a staple at UT for decades. Our Alexi Cowan and Gretchen Thasser have been working hard on a very special story. Guys?
Yep, it's a common debate between college football fans who has the best fight song.
We spoke with the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra conductor Aram Demerjian and let the expert give his answer.
Music, by definition, is subjective. It speaks differently to each of us, whether we're listening to a symphony orchestra or a rock band, a Broadway show. And it's especially true when it comes to college fight songs. My name is Aram Demerjian, and I'm the music director of the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra. What makes a fight song great? It needs to be easy to learn and very singable. It also needs to be distinctive and original. And, of course, it needs to be inspiring. I have the awesome responsibility today of choosing the best, most effective college fight song based on objective, unbiased musical criteria alone. I have to be true to that responsibility. Here are our 5 finalists. The Notre Dame Victory March. Notre Dame's Victory March, it doesn't get much more iconic than that. Ba 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 da da dum. It's just all scalar step. It doesn't require any extensive vocal technique at all. Just a slight knock off because of all of the syncopations. Da 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 da. So we'll give a 5 for melody, a 4 for rhythm. Now, originality. No matter what team you're a college football fan of, you hear the Notre Dame Victory March and you know one of the schools that's playing in the game. Oklahoma's Boomer Sooner. We're going to start off with melody. Yum ba dum ba dum da dum ba. It's quite a repetitive melody, so that works in its favor. It's a classic march rhythm, very straightforward. 5 for rhythm. Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner. Points for being easy to learn. Michigan's The Victors. And full disclosure, my wife is a Michigan Wolverine, so I've got to tread very carefully here. A lot of really good things to say for the melody, a lot of stepwise scalar motion. Ba 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 ba. Doesn't get much more straightforward and catchy and easy to learn than the rhythm to the Victors. So without saying much more than that, a 5. It is original, it is a classic, it gets a 5 for originality. USC's Fight On. There are a lot of what we call in music, we call dotted rhythms. Yep, ba-da, 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 ba-da. It's a galloping rhythm to be sure. You can't beat this song for originality. It was written in 1922 by, if you can believe it, it was written by a dental student at USC. That kind of tickles me a little bit, and so we're going to give it a 5 for originality. Rocky Top. Melody doesn't get much more straightforward. Ba 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 ba. That's stepwise motion. Ya da da. Triadic motion. Ba 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 da ba ba. More stepwise motion. So we're giving Rocky Top a 5 on melody. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. I heard that once and it was baked into me from the second that I got to Knoxville. Originality. Now, this was not written for UT, but it's also the only song out of these 5 that held a place on the Billboard Top 100. We see that Michigan and Tennessee are tied neck and neck with 18 points apiece, just edging out Notre Dame that has 17. It's pretty hard not to give both of these fight songs a 5. So to break the tie, here's my view on it. Rocky Top doesn't just represent a football team or a basketball team or a university. It represents an entire region and all of the people in it. So that's why we are going to kick an extra point for Rocky Top and give it 6 on the inspiration scale, which means that Rocky Top is our winner for Best College Fight Song.
Hey Aaron, thanks for everything. We're gonna go ahead and take it from here. Go Vols!
This story has been about a month in the making, with a lot of hands getting involved. Let's take a glance at behind the scenes.
Now, we had the chance to work on this story with Professor Gene Wojciechowski, the well-known American sports writer, best known for his work on ESPN. Gene even shared why this project was so important.
I think we're always looking for ways to involve as many students as we can, and this seemed like a great way of doing that. My script writing, narrative feature writing class with a production class that Brittany Tarwater is teaching.
Now, it was so much fun to go on this shoot. Being in the Tennessee Theater and being surrounded in such a historically and musically profound atmosphere made it 10 times better.
A huge thanks to Gene and of course Professor Tarwater for letting us be a part of this.
Nothing but the best professors here at UT. Thanks, guys. The University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine helps nearly 300,000 animals a year. One of these animals is a horse named Seven. Our Kyla Berry went to the stalls to tell the story of his journey back home to his family in Middle Tennessee. Kyla, who is this sassy horse?
His name is Seven, and while he may have a bold personality, he has an incredible story. Seven was born 2 months premature at 286 days gestation, and it's nearly impossible any horse born before 310 days survives. But Seven is on his way to recovery, all thanks to the doctors at the UT College of Veterinary Medicine. In the large animal hospital at the University of Tennessee, there's a foal named Seven, whose temporary address is stall 1.
Just taking one day at a time and treating the things that he needs treated.
Seven acts like you'd expect. Mischievous.
Tried to open the door to the gardens with his nose.
And hungry.
He's sassy, for sure. He knows what he wants, which is usually food.
But that's not always been the case.
Couldn't stand very much at all, let alone walk without a lot of support.
Seven arrived at UT's Big Animal Hospital in July.
Slid him out of the back of the SUV onto a gurney and brought him into a stall.
Born 2 months premature, unable to walk.
Thing that he's missed out on as far as comparing him to a regular foal is really interaction with other animals.
Dr. Ucini is helping Seven get back up on his hooves.
Stressful at times, I'm not going to lie. When he has a setback or a complication, it's worrisome. Did we make a mistake as a medical team? Should we have predicted this?
Defying the odds, it's something Seven has done since the day he got here, and now he's an internet icon.
We're still decreasing meds on everything. I think this is an opportunity to really show the world what rehab in general can do.
The TikTok star galloping to recovery, preparing to return home to his family in Middle Tennessee.
Great time for her.
But for now, Seven has Eight, his favorite stuffed animal, to keep him company.
Used to use Eight's little head and neck as a pillow for Seven.
In Knoxville, Kyla Berry, Vol News. Dr. Ursini tells me they still do not know when Seven can return home, but we will keep you updated on his recovery. Now, if you want to follow along on the TikTok star's story, go check his videos on Katie Van Slyke.
Thanks, Kyla. I will have to go watch them. He is just too precious. When we get back, a loss in Athens. We'll take a look at what went wrong and what the football team is looking to next. And while the football team fumbled, your basketball teams continue to dominate. All that and more when we get back.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
It's been a busy week in the sports world as always, but with a devastating loss in Athens. There sure is a lot to talk about. Alexi Cowan joins us now with a closer look. Alexi?
Thanks, Sydney. Yeah, I hate to end the semester on a sour note here in the Sportscast, but it's got to be done. Vols did start out really hot. Look at this hustle for this first TD, but then from then on, Carson Beck, veteran QB, the guy with 12 interceptions on him this year, has his best game of the season, of course. Tennessee did leave them scoreless in the first quarter, but then Beck started throwing. Right into his hands, TD, nobody there. Then watch, does the exact same thing again. Right in his hands, nobody there. Now, notice the difference in play styles here. Tennessee is running the ball for touchdowns. You can see Dylan Sampson here tying up the ball game at the half, but third quarter, Carson Beck says, yeah, I can run the ball too. And it just gets ugly from there. I mean, they also show that they can dive just like we did in the first quarter. Here they go. He hops right over just like we did in the first quarter. But this puts Tennessee with 2 losses, sinking their playoff chances to very little. Playing UTEP at home tomorrow for Senior Day. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Late night for men's basketball. Last night, Vols traveled to the Bahamas for the Bahamar Championship against Virginia. Tip-off wasn't till 10:23 p.m. Eastern. Previous game went into double OT. Didn't end till after midnight. Cam Carr and J.P. Estrella both out for injuries last night, but you saw some power from the transfer portal. Felix Okpara, Igor Milicic. Good to see Darlinstone Dubar and Bishop Boswell out there. And certainly Mr. Chaz Lanier. Looks like he'll be our guy this year. He surpassed 1,000 career points during last night's contest. Had a game-high 26 points leading the scoring. A tight game until about halfway through the second half when Tennessee starts to run away with it. Final score 64-42 Vols. That was some midnight madness. They got 13 ranked Baylor Bears tonight at 9:30. Tennessee ranked 11th as of right now. Should be a tough matchup. Tennessee swimmers are making a splash this week. The Tennessee Invite is in full swing, hosting Kentucky, UNC Asheville, and Virginia for a 4-day-long meet. Our Vol News reporter, Griffin Hadley, is actually there competing for the Vols. You can go cheer him on and his teammates. The meet wraps up tomorrow. That wraps it up on this side of the field. Hope everybody has a happy holidays and good luck on your finals. Hope to see you in the playoffs.
Thanks, Lexi. When we get back, it's been a long semester here at Vol News. We'll take a look back at everything that we have covered.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. People who create connections, push boundaries, do the research that changes lives. We've got world-class academics and championship athletics. To be the best, you gotta learn from the best. And if you wanna lead, you gotta light the way. We've got what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Today is Friday, November 22nd, and this is your Vols 4-day forecast. Starting off today, the temps have dropped overnight as a cold front swept through and dropped some snow on us last night, leaving us with our high today of 47 with mostly sunny skies and high wind gusts. Moving on to Saturday, our final home game will be a little chilly, one with a high near 54 with sunny skies and a low around 35 Saturday night. So don't forget to bundle up, Vols. Now on Sunday, it will get slightly warmer with a high near 61 with sunny skies and a low of 41. Ending the weekend and starting the week, Monday is going to be a wet one with an 80% chance of rain throughout the day. The high Monday is around 66 and the low will be around 46. And that is all for your Vols 4-day forecast. Have a great break and go Vols.
Thanks, Ansley. It's been a busy semester at Vol News, from reporting abroad to covering the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene. Alexis, can you take us back through the stories of this semester?
Of course. Like you said, it's been a busy semester. We've had Vol News reporters on the ground bringing you breaking news like the explosives found in Knoxville and answering your questions, especially in connection to the election. So let's take a look at some of the most important and best stories of this semester.
Without arms, the archer turned to archery to put food on the table.
Fall semester started with Vol News reporters in Paris covering the 2024 Paralympic Games. 11-year-old Vol fan Nolan Turner was killed by a drunk driver last fall, but his love for Tennessee lives on. The Vol shop sold t-shirts with his design on them that you can still buy today. We followed breaking news. A box of explosives found in Knoxville. People in the area evacuated for days until officials safely disposed of the box.
Breaking news tonight. Now, the Knoxville Fire Department is responding to a fire that
A fire at Knoxville College destroying part of a vacant building. And we first brought you news of an attempted murder of a student on campus. One student was hurt and another arrested.
50 people have had to be rescued from their homes today. And here's
Our
why.
Vol News reporters were on the ground for days, covering the devastating flooding in East Tennessee from Hurricane Helene. Vol stepped up to support people who lost homes and loved ones in the storms, creating and selling Mountain Strong merchandise. Proceeds went directly to the victims.
Hands are down. If you take a look, they are ripping grass up from the field.
We were on the field when the Vols took down Alabama for the second straight home game. Fans stormed the field and celebrated the Vols' victory on the third Saturday in October. And a one-on-one with Vols basketball star Zakai Siegler and his mom, after Vols stepped up to support after his family lost their home in a fire. And a first for Vol News, A live, hour-long remote special newscast, Voting Matters, with live interviews and the stories that matter to you before you cast your ballot.
That is all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sydney Brackett signing off for the last time. Have a great break and stay safe and go Vols.